welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, we are here in Sliverbow, where a concerned mother has a quest. Unlock quest for a gatherer. Oh, hello there. You're the sweet young lady staying with Master Matoya, are you not? I've been meaning to thank you for looking after my boy that one time. His name is Valen. You remember him, don't you? He's always running around with his friend Quinfort. You know, the one who so much enjoys hearing the sound of his own voice? Why, just moments ago he rushed in here and went dashing off, shouting about how he'd made a discovery of staggering import over in Fano. Valan, bless his heart, went running after him. I know these parts aren't as dangerous as they once were, and Quinfort apparently has made some friends among the Viis, but still, I can't help but worry. So, this quest will need these, two quest lines. With the twins and the friends here with Squee. Would you be so kind as to follow after them and make sure Valan doesn't get into anything over his head? You can tell him his mother sent you. Okay, over in Funnel. For the last time, Quinfort, would it kill you to actually explain yourself before you go dashing around the forest like a madman? What nonsense do you speak, Valen? The Keeper of Whispers would never be so insolent as to keep the gods waiting when they would share with me their wisdom. Why, the mere notion is preposterous, blasphemous even. Guys. Serenia, what are you doing here? Your mother asked me to look after you. My mother sent you? Dear heavens, I'm sorry for dragging you into this. As you might suggest, Quinfort's rantings and ravings about the will of the wood again. When he went off shouting about prophecies, I simply had to follow along to make sure he didn't get himself into any trouble. The Viis said we were welcome at any time, of course, but would it kill the man to be a bit more circumspect? Oh, that reminds me, whatever happened to that squirmy little fellow that Quinfort, for whatever ungodly reason, believes to be the great Serpent of Ronka? Does it still travel with you, or did it get squished somewhere along the way? What ignorance is this, Valan? The Divine Protector has returned to slumber in its nest deep in the heart of Raktika, from which it speaks to me in my dreams even now. Squeak! Oh, Great One, is it truly you? Return to grace your loyal servant with your presence in this time of need? Truly, the wood has answered my pleas. If a great servant has been with you all this time, Serenia, I can only imagine what sort of dreams he's been having. And yet, as skeptical as I am, the Viis seem to put stock in his visions. There's even a hint of truth to them. Who knows what we're in for? I know, my good friend, for I've seen it 1,000,000 times in my vision. This venerable forest is on the verge of entering a new age of harmony. For the great serpent shall let out a mighty cry, and so doing summon forth they who did serve great Ronka in times of eld. Verily, the arrival of the heirs of wisdom, ancient and true, is nigh at hand. Now is the time. We must follow where the great serpent leads. In doing so, lay claim to a great future. Quinfort! Not again. I'm sorry to impose, but would you mind helping me go after him? There's only one path forward through the forest, so he shouldn't be too hard to find. Okay. Where is he? Look, over in the flower bed. Someone's there. A rat who speaks? Who are you, and why do you trespass in our sacred forest? Answer me, or we'll be dining on rat stew this night. Ye gods! Oh, do have mercy! I assure you, yes, most assuredly, that we come in peace. Put down your arms. If my visions speak true, and I have never known them to speak otherwise, this mousy fellow and his diminutive companion are none other than the descendants of a proud Ronkan tribe of old. You're from Silverbow, yes? One of the so-called Night Blessed? There you are. I swear, Quinfort, do you take pleasure in driving me mad? Forgive my friend, he simply cannot control himself sometimes. I promise you I'll give him a stern talking to when we get home. Now, Quinfort. Friends of the ally of Ronka, are you? You're quite bold, or quite foolish, to rush forward before the spear point of a Viis as you did. And who or what is this one? I've not seen him or any of his ilk before. And yet you say he's a descendant of a proud tribe of Ronka? Most assuredly so, for I did foresee his coming in a vision granted to me by none other than the great Serpent itself. Right. A stylish serpent. Look, Father. There's two of them. Quiqirn? Here? What? If you must be mistaken, but this is understandable. After all, my people have lived in hiding for generations. Few, if any, of those on the outside are familiar with our kind. Alas, how far our noble tribe has fallen. A most auspicious encounter this is. For a friend of a great serpent is a friend of ours, yes? Pray, my good sir, do enlighten us as to the name of your most ancient venerable tribe. We are the Qitari. You call us an ancient and venerable tribe, and I cannot deny that we are very much that. The Qitari? That is a name I have heard from my elders, and yet I was told that the last Qitari vanished 100 years ago. Those of us born after the flood never paid the stories much heed, but you say we truly stand before a Qitari in the flesh? However it may be, it's clear that the ally of Ronka and her friends mean us no harm. Let's put down our arms. I like how they put away the spears. It looks almost real. Father and I have come in search of a great artifact of our past. Great stones buried deep in a cave by his father's father's fathers. How many fathers were there again, Father? Squeak! Shakel, have you forgotten your manners? It would be untoward not to introduce ourselves to our honored new friends. I'm Quital Nuttall of Quital, and this is my foolish child, Shakel Cottle. Do forgive us our impropriety. Yes, do forgive us our impropriety. For nigh on a century, our tribe has made its home in the shadow of a light, deep in the forests on the far side of the Kitana Revel, by the rushing waters of Raktika Falls. We did not always hide in the darkness. This place we now stand was once our home. And then came that fateful day when the skies were flooded with light, facing certain doom. Our forebears fled the forest, but not before a band of bravest gave their lives to store away our greatest treasures for safekeeping, with the hope that one day their children's children might unearth them anew. These are the artifacts of which my son spoke. The Qitari stelae, mighty stone monoliths engraved with the accumulated knowledge of our people in its entirety. Of course, it's precisely as I saw in the vision the great Serpent bestowed upon me. A proud and ancient tribe of scribes and scholars, the stewards of the knowledge of ancient Ronka. You are most insightful, my friend. Indeed, we were once as the stewards of note, a title that fittingly described both our duties as keepers of written knowledge and the surpassing aptitude with which we pursued the task. Our ancestors served proudly as scribes and scriveners for many a generation of Ronkan emperors. It is a role that came quite naturally to our people, for you see, we are not blessed with a longer lifespan of your kind. Thus, from our earliest days, we have been most meticulous about recording the happenings and learnings of our lives in precise and painstaking detail. The Qitari stelae, or more specifically, the carvings and etchings that grace the surfaces, represent the summation of all the knowledge and wisdom we have acquired over the years. They represent, one might say, the collective memory of our people, passed down through the ages from generation to generation. Long have we dreamed of returning here to search for the stones and reclaiming our legacy, and yet nasty sin-eaters and worse stood in our path, making the journey far too perilous to even attempt. Then, one day, the skies turned dark. I trembled in terror, but next thing I knew, the great Serpent was hopping and squirming beside me. He told me that the path through the revel had been cleared, and we were free to go home at last. Precisely. And so it is that my boy and I received the blessing of our fellow Qitari and became the first of our kind in generations to return to this part of the Great Wood. Unfortunately, we were immediately set upon by all sorts of nasty creatures, forcing us to retreat and ponder our course of action. Where we came upon you and threatened you at spear point. Pray forgive us, Alas of Ronka. We know not who you were, nor all you had suffered to arrive here. You intend to remain here in the Great Wood in search of these, stelae of yours, was it? Why not? We shall tell all in fun of you, that you are friends and not to be harmed, and with that we must be on our way. Go in peace. Dear me, that was a close one, wasn't it? I was all but certain Qyqirn and I were going to end up skewered. Were it up to me, I would have left the boy behind for his safety, but he's ever a curious one and would hear nothing of it. I'm not a child anymore, father. I'm all of 3 summers. 3? Why, when I was 3 I could barely walk straight. I do not doubt that is so, good sir, but for our people, the oldest of whom would be lucky to see 20 summers. Qyqirn here is almost a Qitari grown. But enough about us. If I might change the subject, you know your way around the Great Wood, yes? I have reason to believe that our forefathers buried the stela in a cavern that extends deep into the mountains near the Oxtalan Gap. Perhaps you might be willing to... Squee! Come, father, we must follow him. But of course, it all makes sense now. It's the great Serpent who guided you here to us, and now, together, we must heed this clarion call. Say no more, great stewards of Ronka. It would be our honor to assist you in your noble cause. It's most kind of you, good sir. In that case, pray allow me to oblige. Let us follow where the Great One leads. And my Serpent hops afterwards. The mere sight of a divine protector, humbling itself so as to crawl on the ground, that its loyal servant may rediscover and reclaim their proud past. Why, its nigh brings a tear to my eye. And so I finally returned to this place after 100 years. what awaits us here. The mere prospect stirs my heart, makes me tremble in anticipation. Father, could this be the place? Let us see now. The mark on the cave entrance appears to be an ancient Ronkan ward. That is promising and yet problematic. Do allow me to explain. We Qitari worship Oxtalan, god of the dead and the world below. Our fathers no doubt believe that if they sealed away the stela deep within the bowels of the land, Dalan himself would watch over them and keep them safe until the day their descendants returned. Most fascinating. Your knowledge of Ronkan tradition is impressive indeed. However do you manage to know so much despite your chronicles of history being lost to you for so long? Many ruins can be found near Raktika Falls, within the wood we have called home since the flood. We have made an effort to explore and excavate them as best we could, but our Ronkan roots would not be entirely forgotten. A most admirable goal, and one near and dear to my own heart as well. For you see, I am one of the knights blessed who traveled these parts after the flood. I too have a deep personal interest in the belief and traditions of the ancient civilization that once flourished here. In fact, I have done extensive research looking into my own ancestors and was pleased to discover that I can trace my lineage back to none other than the great sage Dwattel himself. And Serenia he is a true ally of Ronka. Why, as a reseller, her coming was foretold by the last emperor himself. The descendants of Ronka and their allies reunited across the years. Joyous day. This meeting must truly be a gift from the great Serpent. I can vouch for Serenia here. She's the very woman who drove a light warden from these lands. As for the descendants of a great sage, what's his name? I'd suggest you let at least half of his ramblings go in one ear and out the other. Could it truly be? But yes, our hero stands before us. We watched your battle in the revel from the shadows. The moment you struck down that beast of light, we knew that a new age was nigh. Oh, never have I seen such a gallantry and valor. I saw the battle too. Never have I seen such gallantry and valor. At any rate, my good sirs and madams, I'm keen to begin the excavation, but I fear it won't be so simple. The warding seal here bars our entrance, and we will have to find a way to break it before we hope to proceed. If what I've gleaned from my research is correct, it will require an object of immense arcane power. A relic that will speak to the seal and convey that the Qitari have returned to what is ours. An object imbued with the mystical energy of the forest itself. Yes, an object with a glow of a great wood. As you always say, Father, I shall find it for you. Your enthusiasm is admirable, Chikal. But let us not get ahead of ourselves. This is a perilous place, and I have no intention of seeing you get snatched up by some terrible beast. And so I turn to the hero of the revel, and the son of Dwattel. My good sirs and madame, might you know of someone who could aid us in our search? You can trust me, I'm a fisher. Among other things. Oh, lucky day. Clearly you're not merely a hero on the battlefield, but a woman of many talents indeed. We would ever be so indebted to you if we could impose upon you just this once. Yes, we would be most indebted, my good sir. Or was it madame? Father, I can never tell which is which. Enough prattling, Chakal. We must find a way to open this portal at once, that we might summon our fellow stewards here and begin searching for the stela in earnest. O ally of Ronka, Kital Natal of Qitari bows down and beseeches you. Will you lend us your aid and help my people reclaim our long-lost legacy? I promise you that debt will not go unpaid. I realize I asked much of you, and so soon after we met. Needless to say, pray take as much time as you require to consider my offer. Should you be inclined to offer your strength and wisdom to us, just say the word. Is there any? So, I'm happy to greet you again, my good madam. What say you? Have you given any thought to my entreaty? More important things. No, I stand with you. Powerfully spoken, Serenia. Truly, this shall mark a new dawn in the annals of Ronkan history. As a great sage is my witness, I say, let the Qitari rise to glory anew. We are truly in your debt, ally of Ronka. I entrust the vital task of finding an object with a glow of the great wood to you. As to where to begin the search, leave that to me, my long-snouted friend. Did you mayhap notice that the serpent your dear Chacal brought along had a rather distinct pattern of scales on its most exquisite body? I have reason to believe that this pattern will indeed lead us to that which we seek. Whee! Hark unto the serpent's cry, and know that the point of light that glows amidst the stripes represents those precise spots where the ether that flows through the great wood is most densely concentrated. Behold, here in the western reaches of Midgill's Regret, conveniently marked by the slimy little scar, we can see what is doubtless a convergence of sorts. If anywhere, it is there we shall find denizens of the deep, whose scales are imbued with sufficient power to breach the seal. I might add that, if my encyclopedic knowledge of forest fauna serves me well, these creatures are known to have a particular fondness of fruit worms. Ah, if the son of Dwattle says that is so, then surely it would behoove us to pay heed. When you return with her, pray let Chacal see it once. I would have my boy gain first-hand knowledge of the wisdom of his forefathers. Catch a glowfish. And where's that? Down there. Okay, then let's fish around here. Apparently, fruit worms are good for this, so... There's a glowfish. You have returned, and what's this? Do I see something glowing on your person? Here's a glowfish. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, thank you, Sir, Madame, was it Madame, Sir? Now, Father says I need to simply point it at the door and... That's not a fish. That's a stone. My word, it opened! Oh, splendid, splendiferous! Splendiferous, indeed. Look, Father, this seal is broken. It has, Chacal, it has. And with this, after 100 years, we stand on the verge of reclaiming our legacy. But our task has only begun. We're digging, yes, much digging, and delving. We must relay the triumphant tidings to our tribesmen and summon them here to assist in the excavation. Yes, from this day the stewards will not rest until a new page in the annals of Qitari history has been writ. Do not worry, Father. I will work as hard as any steward to reclaim our legacy. Oh, So, Madame Serenia, you will help us in our quest, yes? Sealed tight for a century, the door to the ancient cave lies now open. The Qitari excavation effort can begin in earnest. Good Serenia, you must meet my mother. Mother will be running the camp and seeing that everything is in order. Is that right, Mother? Yes? My son speaks true. Reclaiming our history is more than grand discoveries of ancient artifacts. There's much to be done to ensure we can go about our daily lives in this place, and so I would call upon you for aid from time to time, if you would not be disinclined to help us. Will the steward's excavation effort succeed? Will the lost stellar of a Qitari return to the light? That young Jakal might one day know the wisdom of his ancestors? Or are ancient secrets destined to stay forever shrouded in darkness? Only the gods know. Squee! Beast tribe quests unlocked. You have achieved friendly reputation with a Qitari. Qitari quests will be available from Kotal Pasol at Hoppelstoppel. Okay. With my compliments, one. Rigorous as we work, we quickly wear down our tools until there's nothing left save a hilt, and a tool that is only a hilt is not a tool at all. I'm sure you agree. To be sure, not all of our implements have hilts, but the point stands that we need to replace them quite regularly. It's my responsibility to ensure that we always have the materials with which to make them. To that end, I'd be much obliged if you could catch a claw bow for me. They're native to the blind forest of Yx'Maja, and given to understand that fruit worms make the best bait. My thanks in advance, good madam. The underground caverns we explore are terribly dark places. Without some manner of illumination, we couldn't see our own whiskers. Never mind go about our digging. Would you be so kind, good madam, to catch for me a trout in the red chalice? From them, we can extract an oil which we use as lamp fuel. So they actually have specialized quests for each job, I guess. Touch of home. The same quest, or? Yeah, but I guess they have different targets depending on which class you use them. Ours is a large undertaking. We expect to be hunkered down here for a good long while. That being the case, I have a mind to add some creature comfort to the stopple. Miss Serenia, I'd be in your debt if you could procure a few things to help me make this place a home away from home. Specifically, I require Ariops. They dwell on the waters of Lake Yx'Maja and are passing fond of few things. Many thanks. So I go now fishing. And it's nice that the places are marked as well. Jolly good, you've returned. A requested item, I trust. Ah, such a splendid specimen of clawbow this is, where sturdy pincers can find use in many tools. Oh yes, my gratitude, good madam. Thanks to your kind assistance, we have all we require for now, but we'll have need for more before long. I hope you lend us your procuring expertise again. Welcome back, Mr. Serenia. I hope you have obtained that which I seek. Ah, splendid. This shall serve us well for several outings. As you may have heard, we Qitari do not see as well as some other peoples, must rely on such things to help us find our way in the dark. For this gift of sight, you have my heartfelt thanks. Yeah, they stay vague because each gatherer needs to collect a different item, right? Yes, it's absolutely splendid, my gratitude. By making the stopple more comfortable, our workers will be better rested. And a rested worker is a productive worker. Oh yes, perhaps we can look into extending the length of shifts. Alright. The quest save is long. I might not again show off the quests themselves because, well, there's not much to them, right? Anyway, until next time, when we play more Final Fantasy XIV, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.